welcome to episode 2 of the Loveliest Yarn Company VBLOG. Thank you to everybody who logged in last week and watched, and for everybody who subscribed. For those who didn't see last week's, my name is Michelle. I look after the Loveliest Yarn Company, and we're just doing this little kind of vlog to talk about shop news and knitting news in the wider community. So we talked about like lots of different things last week, but I'm going to go back to last week first and talk about actually 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to be here earlier, but I was not because we were at Fibre East. We got the stand on Monday, so obviously that was last weekend out. But back to last week and the Tits Out Collective. It has now finished, and in total, it's amazing. I think many people will have seen it already. There was a total of £55,000 raised worldwide. For a variety of charities, predominantly women's charities, raised by businesses that are predominantly run by women, which I just think is phenomenal. A huge thank you to the Countess and the Blazing Squad. Being part of it was amazing, and it's kind of incredible really, because everyone was talking about it. It was huge, and it's so nice to be part of something like that in a community that is happy to, you know, take part in those kinds of things. Us in total, we only raised a tiny amount, but it's good. So we raised £188, which should be split between Women's Aid and a Bramcote Rescue. And we're thrilled actually, because we're not really a dye house. So thank you so much for everybody who bought the yarn and the pattern. That money will go to veterinary bills for Bramcote and just directly to Women's Aid for whatever purpose they want. But all cash donations to Bramcote Rescue go to their veterinary expenses. So that's, you know, that's 2 or 3 sets of vaccines, or it's anaesthetics, or it's something like that. So it's great. From that, we will be keeping the shade of it, which people seem to like as a colourway. We will be adding that to our permanent set of colourways, and going forward, £3 of every skein of that will always go to Bramcote Animal Rescue. We'll do that on a quarterly basis, and we also have the pattern will remain on Ravelry, and £1 of that will always go to it. And the same with, we've just started stocking from Marinette on Colleen Bjork, her beautiful slow exposure shawl. It's now on the website, and we've agreed to split the donations of that going forward again on a quarterly basis. So I will give 50p of each sale, and Marina will do the same to charities of our choice. So in our case, it will be Bramcote Animal Rescue. So we're going to keep doing it. The Countess is just talking about doing it again next year, but you know what? No pressure. If she wants to, that's awesome. If not, we'll find something else, because there's always charities, you know, there's ongoing charity work as well, which we must look into, because we want to do something, but we're just not sure what it is at the moment here at the shop. So that is the awesome news. £55,000. They did a bit of an estimate that's somewhere between £350,000 and £400,000 in retail sales among a number of businesses in the middle of a heat wave. And I'll tell you, it's been a warm July, which does affect sales, but you kind of expect it to, because July, August are always a bit funny, but it's been a massive boost to all of our businesses. And a great reason to buy yarn, which I definitely indulged in. So that's the first thing, that's the Tits Out news. The next thing then is show news. So yes, went to Fibre East. So delighted. Jan and the team did an awesome job. It was really lovely to exhibit there. I have to say, it's the first time I have set up at a show in plus 30-degree heat though. It was blazing hot. And it was beautiful, but at one point I was thinking, I am literally melting. And I was like, right, after a certain point I was like, right, you're done, that's it. The yarn is out, you need to leave the building. But we then had different seasons of weather on the Saturday and the Sunday, so that kind of, it was good. You saw all weathers. We had some great rain, we had some like almost hailstones, the tents nearly blew away, although the tent team obviously did an amazing job of saving those. So we had lots of seasons. It was a great show. I was really delighted to be there. Thank you to everybody who stopped by to see us, even though most people didn't know we were there. So I think people were happy to see us. I was happy to see everybody. Our next show then is the Pop-Up Wool Show in Port Sunlight, which is the 18th. Now I did say the 19th, but it is the Saturday in Port Sunlight, and that is the 18th of this month. After that then we're at the Southern Wool Show in September, and we might be at a certain yarn festival in the middle of September that's in Scotland, but we need to just pay for the stand first before we can confirm that. Make sure we can get a van and find somewhere to stay. So I need to get that done. It's really funny with the shows, because like the 2019 show sets are out at the moment. I had a request from the Twisted Threads, who run the Knitting and Stitching show to submit my insurance documentation for the Olympia next year in March. And I'm like, slow down, I need to book a van for a certain Scottish wool show first. So it's funny to be filling in applications for 2019 when we've still 6 months of shows left to go in this year. But that's the way it is with shows. Now, I do want to share, I think this kind of moves into that, but the funniest thing is, Fibre East had lots of different things as well, not just wool. So we're really lucky to be beside this awesome company called Woolly and Felty, run by the lovely Joe and Richard. And Simon has never bought me something at a show. Not that he never buys me things, like he buys me wool or whatever, but I always pick it. But I have to say, this took his eye. Stanley. He is awesome. He's a little felter thing. Now, I'm not a great felter, but I think I can do this. There's really, really awesome instructions and everything in this. But he stood there for the first half of the first day looking at, they had the small one that you can get in the kit, and the big one that was kind of their show display. And honestly, I've never seen anyone so besotted by anything. So yes, Stanley is on my list. Actually, will I do him today? I might. He's awesome. And we also bought extra stuff around somewhere to make the bigger one, because Simon basically fell in love with Stanley. So that was one of my purchases from Fibre East. I was trying to be really good, but it's very hard to be good at a show. Like, it's just shameless, particularly when there are some of the dyers there you would love to have in the shop. And I think that's one good thing about shows, is that not only do you go to sell things, you go to meet people as well. And there are always awesome people at show. Like, I love shows, because not only because of the customers, but also the people I see, who, like Lisa from For the Love of Yarn, Abby, Deb from 5 Minute Adding, Abby from Luxury Yarns, Tracy, and Tracy's helper, whose name I still don't know, his lovely mustache, from the Yarn Cafe, Maya from the Wool Barn. If I start listing though, I kind of miss out on people too, and I don't want to, like Jane from Home Farm Wensleydales, and Becky and Marcus from, like, just all, and everybody from all of the different stands. And if I've forgotten anyone, I'm so sorry. I love them. But also, not only that, but you do go and you get to see yarns you haven't seen in person before, and make big shopping lists of yarns that you want to stock. And I suppose that's what I'd like to talk about today, is to share them, because I don't currently have them in stock, and talk about how I pick yarns and why and stuff like that as well. Because I think it's kind of interesting to see kind of how the process of picking a dyer, and it's not like pick a dyer, it's not a sweet shop. That's not always my decision as to who will have me as well. You know, they have to like me a lot before it's more about them liking me and my business than me wanting to stock their yarns as well. And also for them to be running a full wholesale business as well. So this time I was really spoiled at Fibre East. So there were 3 dyers. One who I found first and went to Fibre East originally to see, who was not at Fibre East this year. And then there were 2 dyers who I've seen before. One I've seen before and wanted to see again. I was just thrilled to see her, because she's so lovely and her yarns are astonishing. And also then somebody whose yarn I've only had by post, and whose yarn I would love to stock. I'd love to stock all of these yarns. And I've had some tentative chats, but it's more a case of people finding slots for people, or people finding yarn budgets to buy wholesale quantities of yarn, because the shop has to be able to buy it obviously as well. So let me talk about the dyers that are just, honestly, I love. So this yarn I found at Fibre East as well for the first time when I visited. Same year I went to see the other dyer. I found this yarn originally at Fibre East. It is from the just so lovely Maya from the Wool Barn. Look at this. Her yarns are beautiful. I actually have some of her original yarns. I don't want to pick them out just in case they're not. I think that's one. I've definitely got a pair of socks and some of her original yarns. It's amazing to see how dyers change their styles over the years as well. So the shop bought, because this is genuine research, 2 skeins of this beautiful toffee coloured yarn and a set of contrasting mini skeins to make a slow exposure shawl from Uncutting Bjog, which we now have in the shop. So obviously it's going to be a shop sample if Maya can find space for me in her die calendar. We're working on it. We've been talking for a little while. We'll see. If, sometimes, people's lives, small businesses are always run in different ways. So it's when people can find kind of space. But this yarn is just magnificent. magnificent. If I never get it into stock, I'll always keep using it, and I highly recommend checking out her website. She really has the most beautiful, soft pastel tonals. They really are beautiful. I'm so excited. Might cast them on today as well. I have terrible castanitis at the moment. And why I really like that is that it's very distinctively Maya's yarn. And that's what I really like, is that dyers, dyers have signatures, and it's so nice when you can see a lot of different ones, really obviously different dyes. And that's what I mean with the next yarn I'm going to show you. I love these. Oh my goodness. I missed out on the one I wanted because I didn't buy it the first day, which was foolish because it drew the eye. Most of you will probably already know Lindsay of Dye Kendi. She's a Northern Irish dyer. And she's been nominated. She's an award-nominated hand dyer who's been dyeing for a long time, I imagine. But I hadn't met her, and I hadn't seen all of her yarns in person. I had bought for Simon her beautiful. It's her Pennywise from her It collection of sock yarns. And Simon loves It, the movie, and the book, and I love Stephen King. So I bought that. It was the first ones I'd seen. And isn't it beautiful? I love a sock yarn that doesn't stripe fully around, because otherwise you get a kind of a spiral effect that isn't as nice, but this is perfect for socks. And it was the first yarn I'd used, and I was like, oh, I'm besotted by her sock base particularly. But then I bought these. So this is Banksy, and this is Convergence. Aren't they magnificent? And again, it's a signature style, like nobody does high colour speckles and beautiful colours like Lindsay, who I think everybody calls Hutch, dyes. And I spoke to her very briefly about potentially stocking her yarn. So I must email for more wholesale details. We'll see what we can do. I love to have Irish dyers, Irish, Northern or Republic of Ireland dyers, because I just do. I think Irish people are they're amazing. No, I would say that. Not me, maybe, with the dyers. But isn't that stunning? I shouldn't knit socks with them though, because they shouldn't be in your shoes. But maybe, I think. I don't know. Put that away. And then the other dyer, who was not there this year, but who I found originally at Fibres, actually went first time to Fibre East to see her yarns. And some of you will have seen my Lush with the gold yoke on it. That's knit in this yarn. And this is Linda of Kettle Yarn Company. Now, most of you know these dyers, so I don't know why I'm sharing. I'm sharing them because I want to share how lovely they are. I've only briefly spoken to Linda about maybe having her yarn in the future, but again, we'll keep talking. She might. These are her Saltaire. Is that how you say it? Saltaire? From Scotland, from Edinburgh last year, but her yarns are beautiful. And again, somebody who does really beautiful solids that you don't always have to, when you're knitting with a hand-dyed yarn, you should always interchange them if you're knitting solid colours, to get that, to make sure that they're consistent even if they were dyed in the same batch. But Linda's actually, you could just knit away. Well, I found that to be the case. I don't ever speak on behalf of a dyer and say, yeah, knit away. You should always check if they're not the same, because no hand dyed is really the same batch. Well, although there are some dyers who are awesome and manage that. But yeah, that's a Kettle Yarn Company. So those are my 3 favourite dyers at the moment. There are other dyers who I talk to as well. I just don't happen to have any of their yarns. But it's really hard because it's, sometimes I approach people and they say no. Sometimes people approach me and I have to say, I'd love to, but it's going to be a while, because I kind of plan my budget 3 to 6 months in advance. But then I get distracted by other yarns, and it depends on who's doing what. My hair is dreadful today, by the way. It's really annoying me. I'm waiting to get my dryer back, which I will have next week, so I'll actually stop looking like I was in a fir bush before I did the show. It's also really warm in here. But yeah, so it's tricky, with the balancing. You try not to offend people, and it's never that you don't want to stock somebody's yarn. It's sometimes that you just don't have the budget, or that it doesn't fit, or that you have a dyer whose yarn is similar, or there's so many factors that go into it. But yes, those are my, I'll do a bit of romancing, and hopefully they will have me as a stockist. So then that takes me to shop news before I finish. Shop news is, what are we doing? I'm supposed to be writing, I'm trying to get ready for Christmas. I'm like, why is it nearly, like, it's July, it's 30 degrees. But Christmas always, well, actually it's August. Honestly, I do not know where the days go. They just vanish. So I suppose the biggest shop news is we're starting tomorrow. We're going to have a summer book sale, August. Part of the reason is that books turn over really quickly. Like you'll see a lot of new books come out, and you want to refresh. I want to refresh what I have because a lot of my customers will have already bought what I have, or there's a certain saturation level with certain books as well that like everyone has them because they're so popular that they just sell them. Then you don't need them anymore in your shelf because people have them all. There are books, of course, that never go out of style. Sorry, battery. So we're having that. And I also have a lot of paper patterns at the moment as well that I do and don't need that much of. I probably do it cutting the stock on those as well. So we're having a book sale starting tomorrow. If you see on Instagram, well, that's the 6th of August. You can see that I'm still a month ago. And with that, there'll be probably, I haven't decided, 10 or 12% off all books and patterns in the shop, starting tomorrow. So that I can restock. Plus, there's a lot of lovely new books out at the moment. You can only have so many books in stock at one point as well, from a kind of just a cash flow perspective. So we're going to do that tomorrow. That'll run probably until the end of August because that's the time when a lot of the new things for autumn, winter are arriving. The next thing I want to talk about, very exciting. I finally finished these this week. They are the most amazing things. And you must be, if you watch my Instagram, you're probably tired of me talking about these. Peaky cats. Honestly, Marna is a genius designer. I just, when you meet someone and you think, every time when I set up with her at Edinburgh, I volunteered to help her. I was there and she was setting up the stand, and every now and again she would pull out this beautiful knitted kind of cowl or shawl or garment, and I'm like, where's the pattern for that? It's in my head, and I'm like, please write these down. They're amazing. So she has started releasing sets of patterns. This is just ridiculously my favorite. I love them. They're so cozy as well because they're socks, DK. So they're DK weight. They're like slippers, and because the colour work at the heel on the foot, it reinforces it, so it is actually like wearing slippers in the house. I've been wearing them. I've had to take them off because they are a shop sample, and I will wear them to death otherwise. So I'll probably have to knit a second pair. And when Simon saw that I had finished them, he also wanted a pair. Now the funny thing about this colour in this way is somebody told me he looks like Totoro. I think he's a Japanese anime character. So you could add a little white belly, and he might be a Peaky Totoro sock as opposed to a Peaky cat. Probably after breaching somebody's copyright there by accident, but he is a Peaky cat. He's that's what he's designed as. They are just, I'm besotted. I'm also really lucky. I'm doing the test knit of her new Sinister Cardigan. Swatched, got gauge on the first go, so it's good. I think I'm going to knit in Titus. I think it'll be Titus. I'm afraid to start though because I'm afraid I won't get any other knitting done, and it's but anyway. More about the Sinister Cardigan in the future when I've started knitting my Sinister Cardigan. But yes, we have the kits for these online. You can buy kits from Marna as well. She has lots of really cool things in her kits. Mine are just yarn and the pattern. But honestly, they are just so much fun. Honestly, Simon wants a pair as well. And he never asks for things. Like, he really wanted a pair. So that's the first part of shop news. The next piece of shop news, which is my last news, because I've been babbling now for 20 minutes. I probably shouldn't share this. It's a secret. It's launching tomorrow. It's not on the website. Well, it's set up on the website, but it's not you can't see it on the website at the moment. You can't see it till probably tonight before I go to bed. It's probably about 2 hours early. I might get up in the middle of the night and turn it on because the honesty of it. And the reason is that it's a new range of colours in West Yorkshire Spinners Craft. Aaron. We've been waiting months to talk about this, and West Yorkshire Spinners try to be really, really fair because obviously they're stocked in a number of yarn stores, they're stocked online, so they set a date in which we can release things so that everybody has a fair chance of getting that kind of initial rush of sales that you get when you launch a new product. And that's really, really fair, which is why it's not available on the website until tomorrow, which is the official launch date. But I think I can probably give you a teeny tiny preview. There are 12 or 14 new solid shades in the Craft. Craft is the most beautiful yarn. It's 840 a skein. It's all Shetland yarn, processed by West Yorkshire Spinners, but bought from the wool broker in Shetland. Totally authentic product. most beautiful. And obviously last year they brought out the 8 flecked shades, which are just really, really attractive, and a pattern book to match. But then they decided they would do a whole range of solid colors, and they are divine. And it's been so long since we've seen them. I'm not going to show them all, but I'm going to show you my favorites. They are beautiful. They are perfect as well for autumn. Look at these babes. So not supposed to be talking about these yet, but they're not available. They're not available to buy until tomorrow, but they will be available to buy first thing tomorrow morning. And I'm going to have like a fanfare at about 6 o'clock in the morning on Instagram. This is my favourite. This is Melby. You can see why it's my favourite as well, because like it's not even in my, oh wait, it's just my entire palette of yarn. Isn't that beautiful? This is goldy kind of rust colour. It's just divine. Then you have this one. This is Norwick. I love a blue. Who doesn't love a blue? Look at that blue. It's a little bit more navy than it's showing up on the screen. It is probably a navy or blue. No, blue hates cameras. This is a beautiful steely grey. Beautiful colour. It's Laxforth. I have to learn all these off, and I'll tell you there are times when I forget what they're called, but the colour is just stunning. They're a really perfect autumn palette as well, which for Aran is the right thing. People are starting to ask about Aran as well. I've been asked about the last couple of shows, so obviously it's that time of year. This is Feltar. It was as if they read my mind with that and Melby. Honestly, it's just the most beautiful green. And they did a little offer for if you took all the colourways, you would get some, obviously, for the samples in the shop. I wonder what colour I went for. And then there's this hot pink one, which I just think is beautiful. Olivery. I know it's attracted a lot of people, and I know that pink is really popular. There's a beautiful white, well, a crew colour. There's a lighter grey, there's a light pink, there's so you'll see them all. They're all on the website from tomorrow. And there's a gorgeous pattern book as well, another one by Sarah Hatton, whose books are always so lovely. Not on the website yet. I will have it up by the time it launches tomorrow, and I'll try to have all the yarn details in them. A gorgeous book, really like gorgeous cabling and there's kids wearing this, which is really sweet, because I think it's a beautiful yarn and it's soft enough for kids to wear, whereas not all yarns are. And then they have this beautiful matching hat and cowl. Oh, it's going to take everything I have not to cast on those. And this amazing yoked cardigan. Oh, look at this. That's stunning. That's knit in the grey that I just showed you, and the Melby, I'd say. Yeah, it's Laxforth and Melby in that one. Although I would probably do it in the green. I wonder why. Or is that the green? I forget the names. No, that's Feltar's green. I'm trying my best. This lovely man's cardigan. I don't know about men in cardigans. I was asked Simon if he would wear it. He tends to wear kind of 4-ply weight cardigans though, so I'll have to check. This is really cute sweater, and I think it's in kids, and you can make it in the kids size as well. And there's matching ones, and it's a great book. Really good. And there's just, and you can mix and match the. There is actually a pattern in here, at least 2 actually, that match the flecked colours with the new colours, which is great because you can combine them into really lovely things. And this is the full colour palette. They have a black as well, which is gorgeous. So you can see this lovely kind of biscuit, I think it's called Bixer, it's a biscuit brown, the green, and it's just, they're a beautiful set of yarns. And I think that's really it. Having given you a naughty sneak preview of that. Very naughty. Shh. But it's only a sneak preview. You won't be able to buy it tomorrow. I will put a link to Craft in the show notes below. I love when people do that, show notes. I will do that, but it'll take you to the craft, but it won't take you to the craft new colours until at least after midnight tonight, to be fair. You want to be fair, and you want to do what, everybody should have an opportunity to launch the yarn at the same time. However, if I do see it on Instagram launched by somebody else today, I'll be like, and then launch it. No, I won't, I promise I won't. And that's really it. Next time, which will be about 2 weeks' time, I think, I might talk about whips. Honestly, I have the worst startitis at the moment and no finishing. I've literally got a big drawer of things that are just not finished. It's been very bad. I've been casting things on for the shop and finishing those just about, but my own things, I'm like a magpie, a pattern magpie at the moment. Even today I'm just looking at the yarn from the wool barn and thinking, why don't you cast on that slow exposure? No, I might make Stanley instead. Anyway, hopefully I'll have a Stanley to show you next time. Thank you so much for joining. If you like this, you can subscribe to our channel by pressing subscribe, or you could share it if you wanted or not, you know, do what you need. And I promise next time I will have tidier hair where I do not look like I was in a furzy bush, because my hairdryer has been in Ireland for 6 months nearly, and I'm finally getting it back next weekend. Yeah, this unacceptable for a blog post. But anyway, I'm sure you'll tolerate it. And thank you so much, and I hope everybody's enjoying the rest of their summer. I hope everybody who's kids and they're off, I hope they're being easy to entertain, and enjoy your summer holidays and the rest of the summer. Take care.